So it's your turn to shoot the dice. Here we have the dice in your hand. How do I shoot them? Are there any rules about shooting the dice? Anything I have to be careful of? Yes, there are a number of things, but they're mostly common sense. Number one, when you're shooting the dice, you only use one hand. You cannot cup them in your hands like you see in all the old-time movies and blow on them. You can blow on them, but you can only hold them in one hand. You're not also supposed to cover the dice up at all altogether. The dice should be visible to the dealers at the table so that they can be sure that you're not doing something you shouldn't be doing, like swapping the dice. When you're throwing the dice, you must get the dice all the way to the other end of the table. There's a back wall, so if you're shooting from this end of the table, you would throw the dice so that they hit the back wall and they fall back onto the table. Now again, you must be careful that you don't shoot them so hard that they fly right off the table. Some people throw the dice extremely hard and they go off the table on a regular basis. Don't do that. Just take the dice, throw them to the end of the table so they bounce off the bottom and hit the back wall, and you will be doing everybody a favor. Also, if there are stacks of chips on the tables at other spots, try not to hit the chips. Okay? Other than that, have fun with the shoot. Once you shoot them down the table, depending on the point, if you're not 7'd out, the dealer will return the dice to you. If the dice do go off the table, one of the dice goes off the table, the dealer will probably give you a new set of dice. Also, when you're beginning your shoot, the dealer will put down in front of you a series of dice, a whole bunch of them, out of which you can pick 2 to shoot with. So if you're wondering why you've gotten all those dice in front of you, it's because he's waiting for you to pick 2 that seem to appeal to you. So you pick those 2 dice out, take them in your hand, roll them around a bit if you want. Even if you don't want to roll them, you can take them and place them and throw them down the table so that they bounce off the bottom and hit the back wall, or they hit the back wall and bounce back down. The best is to hit the table up against the wall and back down again. And that's what you have for shooting dice. And here we are in the craps layout. This is the craps table. It can look very foreboding to a lot of people because there are a lot of bets, a lot of different ways to play the game. But in most cases, they're very bad bets, and you want to stay away from them. So, as I was discussing, the initial roll, basics of the game, is that the shooter and the dice will pass around the table so everybody gets a chance to shoot the dice. You can pass if you don't want to shoot them, and the dice will go on to the next person beside you. Even if you step into the table right beside a shooter, you will be the next shooter. Now, in some cases of etiquette, you might want to pass the dice around and then pick them up on the next time around the table, just to let the other people have a chance to shoot them. So, you get the dice. When you first stand up to the table, you will see a puck on the table that says off. At this point, we are waiting for the shooter to roll the dice to start the game. The shooter throws the dice down the table. The shooter will put his money on what's called the pass line. You can put whatever size of bet you want up to the table limit. So, the shooter puts his money on the pass line, he throws the dice, and if he gets a 7 or 11 on that first roll, he wins even money on his pass line. So if you put $5 down, you win $5. 7 or 11, you win. If the shooter should hit the 2, 3, or 12, that's considered craps, and the pass line winner loses. Now the shooter continues to shoot at that point, even though he got craps, but he continues to shoot. At this point, he will put another $5, or whatever your bet is, back up on the pass line and throw the dice again. Now, if he does not shoot the 2, 3, 7, 11, or 12, it's what is called a point roll. He has then established a point. And you will notice over here, we have the point numbers. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10. Now the dealer at the table will take the puck that says off, turn it over so it says on, and he will put it on the number that the shooter has rolled. Let's say, for example, the shooter rolled an 8. He will take the puck and put it onto the 8. Now the game changes in that now the shooter's goal is to shoot the 8 again. If he shoots the 8 again, he will then win his pass line bet. If he shoots a 7, he loses. So, once a point's been established, the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10, only the point and a 7 are of any effect on these pass line bets. 7 you lose, roll the number again, you win. Now, there is an additional thing you can do once the point has been established, which is called placing an odds bet. At this point, if you have bet $5 on the pass line, you can place an additional bet behind the line. Now, the advantage of that bet is that it is paid off at the true odds of the number that has been rolled. For instance, as you will notice, we have an 8. Now here, it takes a little bit of calculating, but you don't have to calculate. You can ask the dealer, what is your maximum odds bet? But, let's for example say the 8. If you look at the dice, you will notice that an 8 can come up 5 possible combinations. So that's 5 combinations of the dice, you will win. You will also notice that on the dice, a 7 can come up 6 times. So, the odds against you winning are 6 to 5. So you put $5 bet here behind your pass line bet, the odds bet, and if you hit the 8 again, that $5 will be paid off $6. 6 to 5 odds. You have to look at all of the numbers, and again, it's not something to worry about. You don't even have to place odds bets if you don't want to. But if you ask any of the dealers at the table, they will tell you what odds bet you should place. Now that's the basic right better. That's the pass line. Once again, the beginning of the game, the puck will be off. The shooter takes the dice, throws them down the table. 7 or 11, his bet on the pass line wins. 2, 3, or 12, his bet on the pass line loses. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10 then becomes the point. And the game changes. Now, the shooter must shoot that number again to win, or a 7, he will lose. If he 7s out during that roll of his, he is done with the dice. The dice will pass on to the next shooter around the table. And that game is considered over. And we start the whole process again with another shooter. Our next session, we're going to talk about don't betting. And that is betting against the shooter and betting with the house. Thank you.